It's Lisa from SheisMe, and it's Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. And we have a pretty full couple of hours here with speakers that we're presenting speakers again all this week. And today, this morning, first off, I'm enjoying speaking with Kasey. We're a little late because we were having a really great conversation. Kasey Rogers, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you with us. And I know we talked about this, and I said this to you. The first thing is that when you applied to be a speaker and I saw the name of your organization, I know why she stayed. I literally almost burst into tears because SheisMe was born by me wanting to tell my story of abuse and attempted murder. And I searched and searched for a place to tell, a safe space, so that I could tell my story, so that I could inform other women and teach them how to recognize things that lead up to abuse, and how to recognize, love bombing and that kind of coercive control, and what I went through, in hopes that I could inspire and empower other women to not have to go through that again, for themselves, and protect them. And so when I saw what you do and how your organization is taking off, I really wanted you to be a part of what we do here. So why don't you, in your own words, tell everybody what you do and what you're going to be talking about at the SheisMe conference.
Well, again, thank you for this opportunity. And likewise, as soon as I saw the offer for SheisMe, I felt instantly connected, because with the I Know Why She Stayed organization, even though the story, like I have a memoir that we wrote and we use it as a foundational tool for our program, the story is no longer just about Kat and myself. My partner, KJ Harowick, wrote a memoir as well. And what we did was we combined our memoirs into this one work, because our lives are pretty much the blueprint for how people get involved. And there is the love bombing. There is these relationships that start out wonderful, but then over the course of time, they take a very, very dark turn. So
Right.
what we're doing with I Know Why She Stayed is we're trying to get people to understand that the number one reason why women stay in financially abusive relationships, or in domestic abusive relationships, I should say, is because of financial abuse. They cannot afford to leave. They don't want to end up homeless. And even though in the United States there's over 2,000 shelters, there are on an annual basis over 80,000 people, women mostly, that need these services. And when you go to a shelter, they can't always guarantee you transitional housing. And a lot of times they have to turn you away, not because they don't want to help you, but they just don't have the resources available. So our organization, our mission is to connect the dots between domestic and financial abuse, but also to provide programming and educational tools that we've developed that show people and warn them of the signs of financial abuse.
Right.
If your husband or partner starts to take control of the finances, doesn't allow you to have access to the bank accounts, those kinds of things. There were so many warning signs that I just didn't know when I first got married. I supported my husband for the first 12 years of our marriage. And it wasn't until we had twins, after 12 years, and I quit my full-time job. I was working in New York City in the film industry, making more than a six-figure income. And when I decided to leave, he started to take control of our finances. And by the end, he wanted receipts for gas, groceries. And if I didn't give him the change, he got upset.
Yeah. That's it happens, right? Let's combine our, we're married now. We need to combine our income. No, you don't.
Right.
You
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
Keep your income to yourself. It's your income.
Right.
Have control of your own finances. Split the bills. Split the daycare. Split the whatever it is. But do not, in any way, shape, or form, give up your everything over. And I heard someone the other day actually give advice for the women who have stay-at-home careers or work, they're stay-at-home moms or whatever, that hide the money away. Like, there was someone who said, they went shopping, came back, gave the husband the receipt, right? And then would go and return things and get the cash back and then put that into their own secret account. But why, being secretive? I mean, you do what you have to do. Don't get me wrong. You do what you have to do.
Right.
But it's so scary. It's so
It
scary.
is.
Why put ourselves in that position when we could just have our own money and be independent like that? You can still be in a relationship and trust each other and do it, but spend your own money. Like, I don't know why that has to be. That's so old fashioned and so archaic, right?
Yeah.
Because that is and we can deep dive into that some other time, but talking about what marriage was and the control of the finances and all that stuff. It's 2024. Do your own thing, right? Do your own thing. So yes, all of it, yes. And I know you and I talked briefly, but we are definitely going to work together. We're going to be doing some stuff coming up with SheisMe, and I Know Why She Stayed. Some joint ventures, and it's going to be amazing. So stay tuned for all of that. But what inspired you in the first place to sort of tell your story, write your book?
Well, again, I kind of fell into it. It wasn't that I started to do this, but then COVID hit. And I was working as a teacher at the time, and because I was a sub, I didn't have to go back online. And I was getting my master's degree, and I wrote a short story about what I experienced when my husband became very ill. And I was very sad because I was married to this man for 25 years. And like you had mentioned the term breadcrumbs, and there were lots of breadcrumbs. There was a reason why I fell in love with this man. He was very charming. He was, he seemed like he was, like everybody loved him, but it was the way that he treated me that really diminished me, that just turned me into a shell of myself. So when I submitted the short story and people started reading it, they were like, you have to write a memoir about this. And the first draft of the memoir, I never mentioned the word abuse, because I didn't understand that financial abuse is domestic abuse.
Right.
I experienced all sorts of anxiety, depression, stomach ailments, headaches, all of these physical things. But because he never laid a hand on me, he threatened me all the time. He always said, well, wait until you see what's going to happen to you. But because he didn't physically hit me, I didn't think of it as abuse until I started connecting the dots, and I started realizing I had saved every single email, and I had all my journals, and I didn't start writing this story until he had been dead about 10 years. And when I started going back and looking at my journals and looking at the emails, I couldn't deny it anymore. I was in an abusive relationship. I looked at some of the things, the control that he exhibited over me. Like a couple years after the kids were born, we were traveling, and I wanted to take a shower. That's all I wanted to do before bed. Wouldn't let me. Said I was going to keep him awake. When to get up and take a shower in the morning? If you take a shower, we have to leave right now. We had no deadline. We have to leave right now. And if you go in that shower, I'm taking your purse, I'm taking your keys, and I'm taking the kids, and I'm leaving. That's the kind of control
That's
he started
terrible.
to exhibit.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And I didn't realize it was abuse because I didn't have the vocabulary.
Right.
And I was so, here's the thing. I thought, "Oh, something like that could never happen to me."
I know. Before you're in it, you think
Yeah,
like, again, why didn't she leave? Like, why
right,
didn't she just walk out and say screw
right.
you and be done? And
Yes.
until you're in it, um, you know, yeah, until you're in it, you just have no idea.
Yeah.
So, what is that one key takeaway, Kasey, that you want women to walk away with from your talk?
I want women to understand that financial abuse is domestic abuse.
Hmm.
That just because it involves control of finances, it's again the number one reason why women stay. And we
Yes.
should not be asking women why they stay. We should be asking, why is this behavior prohibit? I mean, like they get away with it. They're
Yeah.
allowed to, like I've heard from women who went to try to escape. They went to open up a bank account and their husband found out.
Yeah.
Our laws do not protect us. Our
No.
laws don't protect our children. There are so many children that end up dead and murdered
Yes.
because their husbands become violent, and that is the most violent time for or dangerous time for a woman to leave,
Yeah.
is when she's like ready to go out the door. That's when the violence really can escalate.
Right. Or
And
after, like you finally
yeah,
gotten away, but he's not going to take that
right,
for an answer. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
it's the most dangerous time.
and a lot of people don't realize the number one reason women die in pregnancy is not
At
because
the
of
hands of their husbands.
it's
Yep.
because they get
Or
murdered
their
by their
partner.
husband.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
husband or
So
partner. Yeah.
it's
So
it's
those are the things.
it's terrible. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I'm so glad that you're here joining us because we do need to continue the conversation and always do, because that's my story and
Yeah.
that's my mission, is to make sure that women are safe. And that's the reason SheisMe is a safe space. You can come here, you can tell us anything you need to tell us, ask for help, whatever. We do this in a private space so that nobody can, see what you're doing, see what you're saying, anything like that.
Mhm.
We're really protective about our space. So
Yeah.
what is something that you'd like everyone to know about you?
Well, I'm a really wonderful writer. So the story again, I know why she stayed. Kat and I put so much effort into making this like it's very authentic and it's very
Mhm.
compelling. And my story really is about she is me,
Mhm.
because so many other women can identify with this story, and it is a way for like people to explore their own abuse in a way that, because it's being told about somebody else, it's a little bit safer.
Yeah.
And like we have done so much to develop material, so that our hope is that we can be that beacon out there, so that
Mhm.
others are warned before they get into abusive relationships, or before it gets too late for them to escape. um, it's everything that we're doing in this particular mission really resonates with me, because I have boy girl twins and they are the loves of my life.
Yeah.
And but I see the difference that my daughter and what she has to cope with to have an authentic narrative about her own life,
Right.
and the things that happen in a young girl's life that cause them to question their own identity.
Right. Yes. No, I have the same. My children were preteen, and yeah, they've got
Yeah.
a lot of trauma that they've been dealing with, and it crushes me.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
crushes me to know that they had to witness and go through that, and
Mm-hmm.
the work that they're having to do to overcome some of that.
Right.
It just, it's something I'll never recover from that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
That this was something that um, I tried so hard to navigate and not do, but it ended up happening, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I can't take, like, I can't blame myself
Mm-hmm.
for it all, but I still do. And I still, have to deal with that all the time. Like, and if I had to do it again, obviously there were signs and things that I could have, um, or I should have been aware of, I guess, but you don't know what you don't know, right?
That's right.
So that's why we're here, and that's why
Yeah.
we're doing what we do, so that we could teach others, to recognize those signs, and
Yep.
to be strong and
Mm-hmm.
self-worthy and have that sense of self, and that sense of, what behavior is healthy and what is unhealthy,
Right.
and keep you out of harm's way.
Right.
That is
That's
really,
what it is.
we want you to be strong and independent, and not, and find a partner, not,
Mm-hmm.
a ruler.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it exactly.
Yeah.
That's it exactly.
Kasey, thank you so much. And we are, why don't you tell us about the book and the pen and everything else before we go?
Okay, so the things that you could do to really help us is we have a postcard, and we have people all over the globe sharing this postcard, or sharing, holding up a sign that says hashtag I know why she stayed. And we're actually going to the Frankfurt Book Fair in October because it's Domestic Violence Month. And we're asking people to share that hashtag like we did at the London Book Fair. And we're doing an event called Authors Against Abuse to raise funds for the I Know Why She Stayed initiative. But we also have a pen that has a hidden flash drive. And on the pen, it has the audiobook, and it has the ebook, and a 4-pillar program that we've almost finished developing that will help somebody stay safe offline but have access to resources. We have a financial toolbox. We have, again, a 4-pillar program that will help women untangle their own experiences. And you can find out all about us at iknowwhyshe stayed.org.
Thank you so much. And we will find out more all about I Know Why She Stayed at the SheisMe conference, and going forward as we work together and do some of these amazing events. Thank you, Kasey.
Thank you, Lisa.
And we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.